During the General Assembly, all eyes were on the conflict in Syria, a crisis that has killed more than 250,000 people and seen the rise of terrorist groups such as Islamic State or ISIL.
Realism dictates that compromise will be required to end the fighting and ultimately stamp out ISIL. But realism also requires a managed transition away from Assad and to a new leader.
That is one of the many issues the U.S. and Russia do not agree on. Moscow supports Bashar al-Assad's regime. It also recently started military operations in Syria.
We think it is an enormous mistake to refuse to cooperate with the Syrian government and its armed forces who are fighting terrorism face to face.
Obama and Putin met privately for about 90 minutes in New York, where they also spoke about the crisis in Ukraine. Many leaders attending the assembly hailed the Iran nuclear agreement that will end decades of economic sanctions against Iran in exchange for restrictions on its nuclear program. Among them was the president of Iran himself.
I can now proudly announce that today, a new chapter has started in Iran's relations with the world.
But the Prime Minister of Israel said once again that the deal gives Tehran too many concessions.
Does anyone seriously believe that flooding a radical theocracy with weapons and cash will curb its appetite for aggression?
Netanyahu also said Israel is willing to negotiate with the Palestinian Authority, whose leader Mahmoud Abbas denounced Israeli violations of previous accords as the reason why he will no longer sit at the negotiating table with Israel.
The Israeli government insists on continuing its destruction of the two-state solution.
On the sidelines of the assembly, Obama and Cuban President Raul Castro met for the first time since they opened embassies in each other's country. Castro emphasized that the full normalization of diplomatic ties won't happen until the U.S. lifts its embargo on the communist island and returns to Cuba, the land where the Guantanamo naval base is located. Alberto Pimienta for VOA News, United Nations.